So here's the thing about planning a honeymoon, you don't get a second shot at it. You can take 100 trips later, but this one sets the tone. And that pressure can drive you crazy because when you're scrolling through 20 tabs, every resort looks like it's promising the dream. Beaches, pools, perfect photos, but none of that tells you what it's gonna feel like when you're actually there. That's where my wife and I were stuck. We weren't looking for the flashiest place, we just wanted somewhere peaceful, easy, and personal, where we didn't have to stress over every little detail. So after way too many nights of research, the place that kept coming up was Excellence Playa Mujeres. So in this video, I want to tell you what it was like staying there, the parts that made it feel worth the trip, the things I wish I'd known ahead of time, and whether I'd actually recommend it for your honeymoon. So the resort is about half an hour north of Cancun, and on paper, it checks all the right boxes. Adults only, all-inclusive, a little tucked away so it feels private, but what really mattered was how it felt walking in. The transfer was already lined up, so we didn't have to think about taxis or anything. We stepped out of the shuttle, someone handed us a cold towel and a glass of champagne, and before I even finished the drink, check-in was done. 10 minutes later, we were walking into our room. That first stretch told me more about the place than all the photos I'd been scrolling through. It was smooth, easy, set the tone right away. This was not going to be one of those trips where half your energy goes into logistics. They'd already stripped all that away, so we could just focus on being together. So we went with a junior suite, and it honestly felt like more than enough for a honeymoon. The room was big, but not in that empty way hotel rooms can feel. It was comfortable. There was a terrace where we'd sit with coffee in the mornings, a jacuzzi we'd actually use at night, and a mini bar that kept getting restocked without us ever asking. It had everything from liquor dispensers to an espresso machine. We never had to run out for anything. What I loved most was coming back after dinner. The lights were low, the bed was made. We could just walk in and relax. Now there are absolutely fancier options. Rooftop suites with their own plunge pools, or the Excellence Club with private lounges and a few extra perks. If that sounds like your thing, go for it. But for us, the junior suite gave us all that we needed. We never once felt like we were missing out. Now, one of the biggest surprises for us was the food. A lot of all-inclusives tend to lean on buffets that get old fast. Here we had 9 different restaurants to pick from, and the nice part was we didn't have to book anything in advance. We could just decide what sounded good and head over. 2 meals in particular stuck with me. One was seafood on the beach. Nothing complicated, but sitting out by the water just made it feel like a moment. The other was the French restaurant. We went in thinking it would be a quick dinner and ended up sitting there for hours. The food was solid, but more than that, it felt like the kind of slow evening you actually hope for on a honeymoon. Room service turned into a highlight as well. It runs 24 hours, and one night we ordered dessert and coffee at like 2 in the morning. 20 minutes later it was at the door, hot and fresh, no questions. Everything just felt easy. But we spent most of our time by the pools, of course. There are a few to choose from, and each one has its own vibe. Some were quiet, where you could just sink into a chair and not hear much of anything. Others had swim-up bars where people were chatting over drinks. It never turned into a party scene. It felt laid back, mostly just couples doing their own thing. We also gave the beach a shot the first day, but I don't know, it wasn't great while we were there. The sand was a little rough, there was some seaweed, so after that we just drifted back to the pools, and honestly, we didn't miss the beach at all. There were activities to do if you feel like mixing it up. One morning we tried yoga by the water, which ended up being one of my favorite starts to the day, and one night there was a sax player by the pool bar. It made the whole evening feel special. Those little moments broke things up without ever pulling us out of that honeymoon bubble. All right, now this place isn't exactly the cheapest, right? Standard junior suites start around $500 per night for 2 people. If you want to go a little higher, the 2-story rooftop terrace suites are around $550, and the Excellence Club Ocean View rooms start closer to $720. And at the very top, the honeymoon suites can break more than $1,000 a night, especially during peak season. But once we paid, that was it. All the meals, the drinks, room service at 2 in the morning, yoga classes, the little shows at night, even the airport transfer, all included. And when we split it out, it came to about $260 per person per night. That covered everything we actually did all week. For a honeymoon, where the whole point is to focus on each other and not feel a running tab in your head, that felt worth it. And if you're looking into it yourself, I'll leave a link down in the description, because we can almost always get you better booking rates than if you went directly to their site. Now, when we were planning, the other place that kept coming up was Atelier, also in Playa Mujeres. It's nearby, same idea on paper, adults only, all-inclusive. The vibe, though, totally different. Atelier leans more modern and artsy. It looks great in photos, and they've got more restaurants, but a lot of the good stuff there isn't actually included. Their top dining spot, certain wines, parts of the spa, you're paying extra unless you book their upgraded package. Excellence just felt simpler. What we paid up front really did cover almost everything we used, and that took away the stress of wondering what the bill would look like at the end. We also looked at Secrets Divine in Cancun. That one had more of a lively social feel. Big resort, closer to the hotel zone, more of a scene. If you're after energy, that could totally work. But if you're after quiet time together, Excellence is the safer bet. Because the thing about a honeymoon is you only get one. And we felt the weight of that when we were planning. Excellence didn't check every single box. The beach wasn't amazing, not every upgrade felt worth it, but it gave us the one thing we wanted most: time together that felt easy. No stress, no constant decisions, no second guessing, just space to actually be present with each other. For me, that's what made it worth it. Not the room size or the number of restaurants, but that feeling of this is exactly where we're supposed to be. And if that's what you're after, I'd say Excellence delivers. And if you're thinking about booking, I'll leave that link down in the description. Again, that's where you usually find the best rates available. Also, if you're interested in working with us or sponsoring a future video, just reach out using the email in the description below. If you got any questions, whether it's about the rooms, the food, or if this place even makes sense for the kind of trip you're planning, drop them in the comments. I'll do my best to get back to you, and I know other couples who have been here sometimes jump in as well. If this whole video helped you out, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and subscribe if you want more reviews like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.